This is a extremely interesting list of 5 of the most unique and rarest combinations and options ever offered on the C5 Corvette. It's pretty interesting, so you're going to want to stick around. Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm farting around with different lighting settings and audio settings, and my external audio mic cracked itself. I'm so tired of GoPro. I need to find another solution. This is a GoPro 7, by the way. Any recommendations? I'm all ears. And another segment I'm going to be doing soon is on the LS platform specifically, diving into what makes it so damn popular and such a good power plant, and differences between the LS1 versus LS2, LS2 versus LS3, maybe LS6 versus LS7, etc., etc. So look for that coming down the pipeline. But today I wanted to focus on some of the most unique and rarest options and combinations ever available on the C5 Corvette. 2 of these really shocked me even. I was kind of surprised. Yeah, very fascinating stuff, and I did include 1 honorable mention, so it's kind of like 6. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut up and get to it. And I'm gonna start with number 5, working my way from the least rare, if you will, to the most rare. So the C5 Corvette had a very rare wheel option. It was first introduced in 98 through 2004. 97 did not have this option. It was a $2,500 option from the factory. And those are the magnesium rims, offered in both pewter and aluminum. You rarely see them. I think maybe a handful of times I've ever seen them out in the wild. I do like them. They came in a 17-inch variant. And like the Speedlines, they were also manufactured in Italy. So it's kind of cool. They're almost like exotic, if you will. And they came in at about just over 17 pounds, so very, very light rim. The code for it is RPO N73, if you're curious. And all the C5 Corvettes ever made, is like 240,000 C5s produced, only 2.9% came with this wheel option. So it's pretty rare and pretty cool. One downside though, because they're magnesium, they did scrape and mar kind of easily, and it's kind of hard to fix. But I do like him in the pewter gold looking option. It looks pretty slick. That's number 5. The next one is a 1998 option. That might have gave it away already if you're a huge Corvette diehard enthusiast. In 1998, Corvette convertible was selected for the pace car for the Indianapolis 500, which is pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, it's got this really unique purple color scheme and very bright rims and seats that match the rims, which is pretty neat. To commemorate the event, Chevy actually made just over 1,100 of these things. Now they're called replicas, but they are an identical copy to the pace car. The only difference is it doesn't have the strobe light on top, but you can put that on there if you wanted to, and then you have an exact pace car, which is pretty damn cool. And obviously, if you've never seen one, I'll put pictures here and stuff. The graphics are very unique. I've seen one of these in person about 10 years ago, and it's pretty cool. For C5, it looks more exotic, if you will. If you don't know what you're looking at, it's pretty neat. So 616 of them were automatics, 547 were manual 6-speeds. 5 of these were used exclusively at the Corvette plant, as kind of a factory mule, if you will. 1,111 stayed stateside, 37 total went overseas, 15 of those going to Canada, if you're curious. Pretty rare little car. At the moment, between Auto Trader and Car Gurus, I think I found 2 for sale. They are rather expensive, but kind of neat, and I'm sure they will have a cult following if they don't already, and they will gain value in the future. And one more fact, the automatic actually costs more than manual in this unique trim level. Number 3, this is one that's near and dear to my heart. I own a Z06, but not the yellow Z06. This is a 2001 Speedway White. If you're a Corvette enthusiast, you know exactly where I'm going to go with this. But if you're not, they did make a C5 Z06 in a white option. In 2001, it was the Speedway White, the color name, not to be confused with the Arctic White, which is a little more bright. Yeah, very rare car. Now, some could say that even though 2001 has less horsepower at 385 versus the 02 to 04 at 405, the 2001 White, Speedway White, is probably the most desirable Z06 out there. I know that's very subjective, but a lot of people are always looking for it, and if I'm not mistaken, they fetch the most money right now on the used market. Only 352 of these things were ever made. However, there's an even more rare one that has the mod red interior. Only 137 of those were ever produced. And through attrition and stuff, I'm sure there's maybe 70 left, if that. So if you come across one and you like the Speedway White, before they get too crazy expensive, I'd scoop one up. Fun fact, mine is a mod red. I've taken the seats out, but it still has the panels in it. And Z06 yellow mod red was pretty rare as well. Not as rare as the Speedway White, but nonetheless, pretty cool. Alright, number 4. This is where it gets kind of interesting. I kind of knew about this, but it's more involved than I thought. In 1998, C5 Corvette team decided to go with a very unique color called Aztec Gold. You've probably seen it floating around the internet. Now the story of it is even more interesting. And fun fact, the first 15 of these were Aztec Gold in 1998, and they only made 15 Aztec Golds, and they were the very first ones off the assembly line. Long story short, they made the first 5, and they noticed a lot of the different panels, they had a hard time matching the color between each panel, and thought it was weird. So before they went forward with any more, they called DuPont, like, hey, the paint's all weird, we don't know what we're doing here, you know? Not that they know what they're doing, but they needed more assistance. So DuPont's like, no, you gotta do this. So they did 5 more, they followed their instructions to a T, same thing. All the panels were a little different. So before they continued making this color, someone from DuPont came out real quick, the Bowling Green's like, hey, that's what you gotta do. And even he messed it up. So they were like, all right, I'll stop. This color is very weird, we can't get it right. The gentleman named Will Cooksey from GM at the time, in charge of exterior production, I guess, he noticed that no matter what they did from different angles, the paint just did not look right between each of the panels. And it's very interesting. So if you have one of these cars, under certain lights, each panel is going to look a little different. So like I said, only 15 of these were ever made, 12 of those being coupes and 3 of those being convertibles. Very, very interesting. I've never seen an Aztec Gold, and unless I get my ass up to Carlisle, I probably never will see one. Alright, before we get to number 1, here's a quick honorable mention. This is for the 2004 Z06. More specifically, Machine Silver, not to be confused with Quicksilver, which was produced from 2001 to 2003. Only 967 Machine Silver Z06s were ever made, and they account for 3.4% of all C5 Corvettes made. I didn't know the Z06 04 Silver was different until I made this little video, which is kind of cool. And to drill down even more, the Machine Silver only made up 0.39% of all C5s ever made, so it's pretty damn rare. Alright, number 1, we made it, guys. This one's pretty crazy. Now this is kind of piggyback off of number 4. You're like, we already talked about Aztec Gold. I know we did, but it gets even more crazy. And like I said, of the 15, 12 were coupes, 3 were convertibles, which makes those convertibles very rare. There's 3 of those in the world, which is pretty nuts. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the 3 convertibles has magnesium rims, which makes it super rare. But there's even one more rare than that. One of those 15 was a manual, and that manual happened to be a convertible. Just pretty nuts. Now, this one did not have magnesium rims, which would make it super ultra rare, but this makes it one of the most rarest production cars, not just Corvette cars ever made. A one of one, sold to the public, pretty nuts. I have no idea where this car is. If someone watching this knows the individual that owns it, if it's still around, please tell me they put magnesium rims on it. That would make it the most unique Corvette ever, in my opinion. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I wanted to make that specific Corvette its own little one, if you will. So I hope you guys found that interesting. I thought it was pretty damn cool. So there's 5 of the most rarest options and combinations available for the C5 Corvette. I'm sure I missed a few, and like always, put some comments below, and I'll add them to a future video if you don't mind. Well, that's all I got for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I should have some more C5 content up this week. And like I said, I want to dive into the LS platform, really get into it, and give you guys some good information. I do have a mini video coming out, if not tomorrow, Monday, which should be pretty fun for those of you guys that like my mini content. I do got a part on order for this guy coming soon, and I got a few parts coming for the Mini Cooper. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Mark out.